Yeah! One! Break the wall! Break down the wall! Oh, let's go!
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Power Hour. DJ Oakley here. We got an interesting little box over there. We got Quinn in, well, it's everybody's favorite, Jeff Bezos, in the G-Berg Farm Studios, but you guys are like crisscross applesauce, so we're trying something new. Quinn, nice way to put the Power Hour up on that. And, of course, Eric Bailey joins us. We call him EB. Gentlemen, how are we today?
Fantastic.
Quinn, I couldn't hear you. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm doing the volumes.
I like this, though. This is something we can work with, a little beta testing. It'd be good maybe if we can get you and Jeff kind of flip-flop because you're kind of facing each other. Or Jeff, turn the other way. Turn like towards the refrigerator.
Jeff can't see himself because he has no way of seeing himself.
Can he hear?
Yes, he can hear.
I can barely hear Quinn's headphones. That's it.
Okay. See, that's why it's not higher, Jeff.
Yeah, okay.
Why don't you grab a pair of headphones and put them on?
Bald-headed freak.
I have hair, Jeff. It's right.
Is that you? Nope, that's me. That's on ESPN. Welcome to a Tuesday edition. My goodness, does it feel like the Friday-est Tuesday of all time here on the YSN Power Hour. And gentlemen, it is National Best Friends Day. So, it's Nashana, apparently, because I can't spell either. So we'll just lose that. Talk to me about who's your best friend. Is it somebody that you've known all your life, or is it someone who essentially just came into your life recently? Do you have a best friend? Bezos, you're going to start us off because this is going to be good.
Yeah, I got my best friend has to be my buddy Craig Jones. He's obviously one of the dudes that I can just phone call right away and be like, hey, man, I'm going to move. I need help. So he would probably be there for me most. And another best friend has to be, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he's like one of my best friends, but I have to call Billy Mack like one of my best friends. Like we always like to go out and have a good time. So he'd be my best friend.
There you go. Not Quinn. Quinn, who's your best friend?
Not Jeff Bezos. But that was easy. I got a buddy from high school, Tony Velasquez. He ended up moving to North Carolina to go to school and stuff like that. But he's kind of the same way with that Jeff was explaining. Like I could call him, he's going to be there no matter what. Got to be in his wedding and all that stuff, and see his wedding, and it was just he's one of those guys that's always there.
There you go, EB.
Probably gonna have to go with my dog. My dog is my best friend.
Man's best friend.
Doesn't let me down. He can't hear, so he can't listen to me bitch anymore. So it's probably a good thing on his end. But we'll roll with the dog. I mean, outside of that, like all my best friends are associated with basketball, whether it turns out to be the players or people that I'm with. So too many to name.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the standard husband answer. I'm going to go with my wife as my best friend. I'm going on 12 years. 12 years, I want to say, in 2 weeks. So 12 years we've been married, and 17 years we've been together. So we've been together for almost half of our lives. So that'll creep up on us pretty quick. But my wife, she's the reason that a lot of this stuff happens. For me, for YSN, for anybody, because she kind of said, you go live your dream, we'll take care of the rest. So shout out to my wife, my best friend from anywhere. And here's another one of everybody's best friend. Here's Paul Munson live from vacation. Paulie, who's your best friend?
Look at that. There we go. Can you canoe?
No, dude, there's a glare off your forehead, bud.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty sunny here. No, my best friend's right there.
Couldn't see her. Ads in a way.
Yeah.
Ads come first, Paul.
Yep. There we go. Sorry. It's my wife.
There you go. So a lot of stuff. I mean, a torrential downpour yesterday. So everything basically canceled from the 6 o'clock point forward. I think we got one game in at Scene. And that's what we have to talk about all season long, because baseball is here, and with outside of Warren JFK, we don't have much left from the school standpoint because everything's wrapping up. But I do have a couple questions, guys. Over the we're talking college football here. The college football committee is meeting, and they're talking about maybe changing the football playoffs to either expand it or keep it the same. What are we expecting here?
I think they're going to expand it. There's way too much money that they can get some extra teams in there. I mean, it's just like OHSAA. They do the same thing. Let's expand it a little bit, get some more money coming in, and now you get some more of those big programs in there. I mean, I think we've all been expecting it to go to 8 pretty soon anyway.
Yeah,
so,
I think. Do you think 8's the sweet spot, or do you think they go 12?
I mean, the bad thing with 12 is you're going to have teams with buys, because you can't go 6-12, 12-6-3, so if you go 8-4 champion, or you go to 16, like Ohio did. So you go 16, then you keep even numbers in the rounds, and you go from there.
So from this, EB, do you want to see it expand, or do you want to see it stay the same?
I mean, shocker that a nonprofit organization that doesn't have to pay taxes is going to use free labor off of the backs of athletes. From a fan standpoint, I mean, I think if you're going to have a Power 5, you have to go to 8, because then you just give your conference champion, you give the conference champion their at-large bid, and then you give it, three whatever deserving. I think that in that aspect would be cool, because then you can really start to include your UCFs, or like this year, a Cincinnati who doesn't necessarily get the same recognition as an Ohio State, Bama, Clemson, all these, they don't get the same draw. So at least now you can sit there and say, hey, we threw them in there, we're giving them a shot. And you can't say you play the game for a reason. Look, we all watched why we play the game, because the Salem Quakers proved you played the game for a reason. So, whether it's an 8-1 or however you want to set it up, I think you got to go 8. And if you get to 12, sort of like Paul said, you get in a little bit of a sticky situation.
JB, how do you feel about this one?
I just feel Sorry, I just moved it away from me. That's all. Sorry, everybody with headphones in. I just don't think they're doing anything. It's just what they've been reading probably on like Twitter and Instagram and all that stuff, of people complaining about how it's only 4 teams. I just talked to Quinn. YSU's league does 16 teams, and they have no trouble with that. I don't know why you just can't follow their same format as what YSU division does. If you're going to do that, I would like to see it 16 teams and move on from there.
16. So you're basically giving an open invitation to anybody that wins, and then some at large.
It's an open invitation to watch like teams like Cincinnati try to compete against Clemson and Alabama and Ohio State. That's what it is.
So
you watched Cincinnati last year play against Georgia and can absolutely get their butts, pretty much not handed to, but you could definitely know who was the better team of the two. I'm kind of knocking Cincinnati a little bit, but let's be honest here. There's prominent 4 programs that win every year. Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Oklahoma win every single year for a reason.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear Notre Dame in there.
I don't want them as a winner. They're not a winner.
So my question to you, Jeff, would be, if you're going to have 16 teams in, how do you select those teams? Is it just whoever's in the top 16 in the coaches or AP poll at the end of the year, or?
Well, you do like how they do it. I like how, like the NCAA basketball tournament, do have like a big committee like they have now and go through it, team by do the top 16 teams, and you look at it. Okay, we're gonna not as the final rankings. Do it like that way. Okay, this team played this team, but they compare to this team. Do it that way and try to make it as equal as possible, and then see who wins.
My favorite thing is it looks like Betos is talking to a wall right now.
I currently just look at Quinn.
I know you are.
That red face of Quinn. Jeez, man. Put some sunscreen on.
Staring at his best friend.
You literally look like a tomato dressed as a blueberry.
We're going to have a Texas stare down? We're having a Texas stare down again.
What's everything Texas with you, Jeff?
Dave Poitner said it to an ESPN reporter.
There we go.
There we go.
Davey Wavy.
Not an original bone in Betos' body. Quinn, your thoughts on this? You like an expansion? Do you want to keep it the same? I mean, do you do away with the playoffs as a whole?
I mean, no, you don't do away with the playoffs. I don't think you can. I think that generates too much money anyway. It could stay the same because, I mean, I have to agree with Jeff as much as I don't want to. I mean, it's the 4 teams that normally win it, and like EB said, maybe Notre Dame can compete. They're the only ones that matter. I mean, Cincinnati had a good year. They can't compete with Ohio State. They just can't. They're not good enough. So I don't.
Well, if you listen to a show, if you listen to a show from 12 to 3 here daily, you're going to hear that Cincinnati last year was the best team in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, he also said that to a Notre Dame guy. So
your feet are always up.
Take that for what it's worth, I guess.
Well,
but I mean, at the same time, going kind of the same route as Jeff, the FCS has done it with 24 teams, and it works. It does work. Yeah. I mean, granted, now it's the same team that wins it every year, North Dakota State, but it does work.
Well, how does it work if it's the same team that wins it every year?
24 works. You get the top 8 get a bye, and then usually it's conference championships. They get it, and then they fill in with the top 25 rankings and stuff like that to make out a 2014 bracket.
I mean, one AA has been doing it for so long, and it's been perfect. Like, how can they not pick that up and say, wow, look what these guys are doing? I mean, because, for a while there, when Youngstown State was winning those championships for a while, they were having home games in those playoffs, and those were awesome. I mean, I remember the one year they traveled all the way to the West Coast, and if they won that game, they were going to have a home playoff game back at the Ice Castle, and that place was packed, and it went nuts. And it's like, have that kind of atmosphere, and then have your semifinal championship games at a neutral site like the 1AA does, or FCS, whatever you want to call it now, and have some incentive to have those home games. I mean, because they're going to still make money off the tickets, but you still give the fans that opportunity to not have to worry about, I'm going to have to spend $10,000 for a ticket and hotels and everything else to go travel to, I don't know, Mobile, Alabama or something for the Bourbon Bowl or something stupid, and it's like.
Yeah, but those sponsors won't like it very much because that's, you really kind of need to get, you need to either eliminate some of these bowl games and do it like Paul said, and then okay, if you're bowl eligible, you're a team who didn't make the top 16 or 24 or whatever, you're bowl eligible. The bowl should be happy with that because that's just gonna give the NCAA more reasons to put more teams in bowls, which, as we all know, is going to be more money. And then you, like Paul said, you get to go. Hey, you get the host. You get to, if you're the 1 seed, you're going to host all the way out. But if you bail out, and then it gets interesting if you get to go travel somewhere else. Or could you imagine like if there's an upset and we'll say like Ohio State was like ranked 12th and they had to go play down at Cincinnati or down at UCF or something like that.
YSN bowl game. Pass. Hard pass. BMAC says SEC won't like it if Georgia, Florida, Bama has to come to Ohio State in December in the snow.
Hey,
Tough Nuggets.
Then win more. Be a better seed.
They usually are. I mean, let's face it. Alabama could lose 10 games and still be ranked number 1 overall. I mean, they're the media darling.
Yeah, they are. Well, the mothership loves them. That's why.
Well, yeah. I mean, you saw Nick Saban get extended to 2028, so they're going to have to change his oil before then. But the reason I asked this question, guys, was because we've heard rumors of expansion. Right now, the high school playoffs and the OHSAA is set at 16. And there's conversation. The coaches having a meeting today, supposedly, according to Dana Balish of Channel 21 WFMJ, and the OHSAA having a meeting about maybe shrinking that down because the coaches are not happy about 16. They want to see 12, if not less. They want that to be elite again. How do you feel about that? Would you rather see it at 12 or 16? I'm okay with 16 because that means more of our local teams get in, whereas 12. But I'm not a coach, so let's go. Paul, how do you feel about this one?
I mean, the thing is, I think, and I know 12 is an even number, so nobody screw with me on this one, but I think you still have to keep it a number to where when you cut it in half and then cut it in half again, that you're still at even numbers. If you go down to 12, you're going to have buys. I would probably say the first top 4 seeds have a bye, and then you go from there. I mean, and I agree 16 is too much. I mean, I know it's definitely benefits a lot of our local teams. But think of a region that only has 20 teams in it, and the top 16 go. 4 teams. Now it makes it more elite that you're a loser than you're a winner. I mean, the 4 teams that are out, like you're sitting there going, oh, well, okay, 4. Like almost your whole region is going if you're in there. I mean, I like 8. I like 8 a lot. I mean, I think 12 is a number that just, like I said, you're going to have buys then. And then how do you I mean, it's easy to determine that, but then again, now you run into the situation that Billy Mack hates, and you're like, okay, you have a bye week, so what are you doing then? Are you going to play? Are you going to sit? Are you going to rest? What are you going to do? So,
is 10 the magic number? Because then you have one team get a bye, your top team.
But then you have 9 teams, though. How are you doing that if you have 10?
Your top 2 would get a bye.
Or top 2, I'm sorry. Top 2 would get a bye.
Okay. I mean, that wouldn't be terrible. I mean, because then you earned it. Your top 2 teams are the best teams in that, and so go ahead and have them have a bye, and then go from there. But yeah, I mean, I like 10 too with a bye. But if you do 12, now you're looking at the top 4 having a bye. So
I like 8. Stick with the same number that it's always been. Top 8 teams get in. If you go to 12, or you go to say you go to 12, then you get a team that possibly goes 5-5 or 6-4. And do that team deserve to get in at 5-5? No. I really think you have to have a 7-3 or 8-2 record to be able to get in to get in the high school playoff. Make it only 8 teams and leave it at that. Eight's a perfect number.
But Jeff, you get blown out of the water there because you look at some of your Catholic schools who schedule up and they play tough teams and they
still make it. They still make it.
Yeah, but you're saying only teams with a winning record or something. A lot of those, sometimes those teams are 500 or 6 because they beat 4 Division I school teams and they're a Division III and they make the playoffs because of that. So, having a winning record shouldn't be a part of it. If they're going to have the computer rankings, that's where it ends. But it's the amount of teams that should be allowed to get in.
Siggy says,
sorry to interrupt you, DJ, but I also hate the bye week. I hate having teams have buys. They play 10 games, and you have what, 4 playoff games? So you go, five or four, five playoff games. So you go 15-0. Like a bye week is useless in high school. I think play every week, don't get a bye, 8 teams, and there you go.
I mean, a bye week, yeah, if everybody's healthy, and a bye week in week 2 is garbage, but a bye week in week 11 might be helpful. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You got things and people that are injured. If let's say you got a big game that's week 10 and you lose your quarterback for a week with a sprained ankle, I mean that's going to help you immensely.
I think the bye week, I'm with that. Like the beneficial, by week 10, you have so many, bruises and nicks and you're just kind of beat up. The bye week, it's, I don't want to say it's rewarding because I can play both ends of this, but if you're going to be one of the top 4 teams and you're going to expand the playoffs to 12, and that's what the coaches want. Obviously, if the majority of the coaches are saying we want 12, then there's a reason behind it and they're okay with having a bye week. So the bye week can be super beneficial, especially if some of these teams that play. We'll take like South Range, where you play a pretty heavy schedule when you're playing, in the NE8, or you play in the EBC or some of these bigger gridirons in football conferences. A bye week is going to be kind of reassuring for you, just to where you can give your players a couple days rest. If you want to throw in a light scrimmage or something like that, then save one of your scrimmages and throw in a scrimmage, and you're right back. Where you need to be. But if you're that good as a number 1 seed, then odds are a bye week isn't really going to affect you. It's just more so for rest and recovery.
I was going to suggest this as well. BMAC beat me to it. This is why he likes the WPIAL way of making the playoffs. Each classification/division has a different number of teams that make it. They all have a winning record. So you can't not have a winning record and go to the playoffs, which I think makes a lot of sense, and it protects you against scheduling up. The problem is going to be everybody's going to want to schedule down and get that winning record, so they automatically have one of the boxes checked. So it's going to be interesting to me. I don't foresee an ever situation that OHSAA follows the WPIAL in this, because I just don't think that they're thinking money before the actual production value, right? They don't care about what the score is at the end of the day. They care about how much money they're banking into their wallets and into their accounts. So that's why I don't think the WPIAL situation, which I think is a fantastic one, will ever work in the OHSAA, because it just doesn't make financial sense.
Yeah, I mean, where OHSAA dropped the ball here too is you just made a decision to go to 16 teams without talking to these coaches. To me, that's the same sense of some of these superintendents who run these athletic leagues, but they never communicate with the athletic director. It's asinine, and all it is dude, send out a blast email to a lot of these coaches and just be like, hey, we're thinking between 12 and 16. If you're 12, this is your comments why. If you're 16, this is your comments why. We'll tally and we'll make a decision from here.
But isn't that, I mean, that's how the OHSAA has done things. For some reason, people think that the OHSAA is the one that, like, the tail that's wagging the dog. I mean, they shouldn't be the ones making, like, just end-all, be-all statements and changing the way the game is played and who gets to, like, I'm sorry, I know it's their tournament, but the schools and the membership, or whatever are they going to be called members now? Member schools, because of the membership fees. The member schools are the ones that make this up. Like, when you're a member of something, you don't not get a vote in this. And that's why I think it's so weird that the OHSA continues to make the rules and completely just glaze over anybody's opinion of anything. Like,
and they're dumbasses, because it's not going to happen this year or next year, but it's eventually going to happen because they think they're too big that people aren't going to leave them, because they have this established tournament and whatnot. Hey, guess what? If you wanted to get in a basketball league, you don't have to go to the OHSAA, and you can go play 40 games, and no one can say a damn thing to you. It's going to take eventually one of these schools to sit there and be like, this is asinine. You keep changing the rules. This isn't whose line is it anyways, where you get to make up the rules and the points really don't matter because at the end of the day, like, you're doing what you want to do anyways. So
yeah, I'm with you on
They
that.
make it seem like it's a privilege to be there. Like, it's
There it
a
is.
privilege to be
Yes.
in the OHSAA. Like, we don't care what you say, but you are privileged to be in our little group, and that's wrong. Like, I mean, you're asking them to pay money, you're asking them to do all these things to be in this, but then you don't like consult them and make them a part of your decision making. You just say, this is how it's going to be, but you're lucky that you're with us, so just deal with it.
If you make it a 12-team playoff or a 16-team playoff, you gotta shorten the regular season out.
Never happen. No, because then you're penalizing the schools and the revenue of their
I know,
revenue
but
generation for them.
If you would make it a 10-game schedule, you're pushing football season for very past what it is now, right? Like, usually the state semifinal games are around Thanksgiving, isn't it? And then the very next week is state championship games. So that's going to be your regional final game is around Thanksgiving, then your state championship game, state semifinal games, and then your state championship game.
Well, that's why they moved up the season a week.
Yeah. Couldn't you just say, okay, you guys will play one non-conference game, and then you guys play your conference game after that?
I mean, they could say at this point they could say anything they want.
Yeah.
Because who's gonna argue with it?
Nobody. At this point, not a member school is.
And that's what sucks. It's going to take someone with a little bit of capital behind them. And honestly, I'll be the first one to say it. I wish we had a couple $1 million behind us because I would step up and say, listen, you want to change memberships? This is what we're going to do. But it's going to be for the kids. It's going to be for the membership, the member schools, as opposed to, lining our pockets. It's just not like, and I know that the OHSAA isn't, really on our side. They really don't care what we think one way or the other. But I got to be honest, man. At some point, somebody's got to have to stand up and be like, enough is enough. And, like, something's got to change here. Something has to change.
Like, when is, like, you think, like, ADs now realize, like, and no offense to anybody, that the Ohio Association doesn't care about the kids? Like, do you think schools, schools know that, right? Like, we all know that. I'm the dumbest person in the history of people, and I know that. Like, if they're not about the kids, they don't care about the kids. It's all about lining their pockets with money. And
it hasn't always been like that. I mean, there's been executive directors that have been really, really good and care about the kids and care about the programs of that are members in the OHSAA. But lately, it's just because it's been excuse after excuse. Well, what about COVID? We got to make up for what we lost during COVID. We got, here's the thing. It cost $15 to get into the softball game for the state championship.
That's crazy. Like,
$15. And here's it gets crazier, Jeff, because then you have the track championships that weren't on the same location. They had 3 or 4 different locations for the track championships this year. So it cost you for a family of 4, it would have cost you $120 or so.
That's
just to get in.
Right? That's stupid. That's,
I mean,
that's
you want to be
the dumbest thing of his. That's dumb.
You want to be a state champion? You want your parents to be there? $120, please. And what are the parents supposed to say?
I would have to pay it.
Here's the other thing: is they're getting you on the other side too. You want to watch this? It's $10 to stream. But shame on YSN for charging $10, $9.99 for their streams. Like, it's tough. It's a double-edged sword, and OHSA owns the sword.
You're just so greedy. Why?
They shouldn't have any say in how many games are played during a regular season. A baseball team should be able to go out and play 40 if they want. If a football team wants to play 6 games, play 6 games. If they want to play 20 games, play 20 games. But if a game coincides with the tournament, once you're in that tournament, then you're in their dojo, right? They shouldn't be able to say you can only play 10 to qualify for our state tournament. That's wrong.
I 100% agree with you. They're just greedy bastards. That's all they are.
Coach Seidel chiming in from the road says it was promised that the Coach Association would have input on playoff expansion. When it went to 12, we did. 16, we did not. We also lost a week with the season moving up. Now 2 weeks to prep for a game. Does that create problems? Does that create injuries? I don't know.
The OHSAA, and it's not just football, but I think all sports, and this is back to them, they own the sword. They need to let go of all these dead periods, or you can only have contact days here and there, or in clubs, you can only have so many kids per this sport, or, at club baseball, you can only have 4, basketball, it's 2, volleyball, it's 2, because you're creating an unfair advantage to the ones who don't play. Well, it's not an unfair advantage to the ones who don't play because there's multiple clubs out there that you can do. There's multiple other things that you can do out there to better yourself. Going to training, that whether it's one-on-one or you train with 10 other people or a college kid, that's the same thing as if you go and you play in a game, multiple games throughout the time. If it's something that you want to do, then freaking do it. And if it makes you better, it's life, man. It's survival of the fittest. Not everyone's going to be able to eat at the head of the table. So you got to find your pecking order once in a while.
Yeah, I think to kind of, go from apples to apples comparison, EB, is in life when we're looking to get a new job, or we're looking to be a competitive person in a market. You're not disciplined or penalized because you read a couple more business books than the other person. You're not penalized because you went to college or went to a secondary school or got your master's or whatever in order to get a better job, to better your life. Why is it bad for athletes to play more, to work on their game? I would rather have athletes in a controlled environment than an uncontrolled environment. Correct? I mean, as a coach, you'd much rather see your athlete playing in games than taking it amongst themselves and doing whatever, because anything goes right there. I mean, it's hard to get time on the field. It's hard. It's just, it's stupid. You're absolutely right. It's stupid that, if we have 4 players that play from the same team, it's a penalized. A school could be penalized. But if there's 3 players, it's okay during an all-star game or an exhibition. Makes no sense at all. None. Because
for the work they've done throughout the year, this is their hey, you were pretty damn good, but sorry, bud, can't have
4, 3. So go ahead and whittle that one down. Because here's the thing: from a basketball, it needs to be a percentage if they're going to do that. So you can't have more than 50% of the players on a team be represented from one school. I think that's fair, because basketball's covered. Because 3 in baseball is way different than 3 in basketball. Am I wrong?
Right.
3 in football, way different than 3 in basketball. And then you look at tennis. What the hell can you do? You don't get 3, so it's not even an argument. But it needs to be a percentage. No more than this percentage of that team can be from one particular school, if they're going to do that. Otherwise, it's just dumb. Quinn, your take? They're talking.
Trying to figure out all this stuff and going back.
Your microphone won.
I got it. Thanks. No, I agree with all of you guys. It's just it doesn't make sense to me. That's the basic concept that I can think of. It makes no sense, and I don't understand it because I try to figure out the thought process behind it all, and it's kind of like picking at Jeff's brain. I just can't figure it out. I don't know.
Every little jab at Jeff is just building, because one day he's just going to go flying over that desk like Troy Polamalu.
You put yourself in an athlete's feet right now, in their shoes. Sorry,
shoes?
Shoes. Yeah. But put them in their shoes, and they're watching this go on, right? They're watching all these things change, and how I can't do this because I don't want to get in trouble by this. And at the end of the day, and we say it here a lot, it's all about you at the end of the day. I'm going to try to sell myself to the best possibility that I can find. So if that means if I can go play AAU basketball and play 70 games, and I get more exposure doing that than playing, and no offense for my high school team, it's really hard for me to go from playing 30, 23 or 25 games or 70. It's really hard for me to go, 70 games is pretty awesome.
Well, there's a cost associated with that. But,
yeah.
Everybody wants to win a state championship. The problem is one team, we talked about this yesterday, one team gets to hold the trophy. So you look at that, that's not the majority. And Will Cunningham said, DJ, it's all about the power. The problem is the perception, I think, is the problem. The perception is that the OHSAA has the power, right? They don't. They get to crown one team a year in every division in each sport. What about the other 99% of teams that don't? They can stand up and say, birds to you, buddy, because we know we're not going to win a state championship. We don't need the OHSAA. We'll go do our own thing, and we'll play 60 games. Because, to your point, Jeff, I think there is a lot of value in playing 60 baseball games and not competing for a state championship, which you know you're probably not going to win. The odds are against you. Playing 60 games as opposed to playing 27 and maybe getting to a state title, maybe getting to a district title, maybe getting to a regional. Play wherever the hell you want. Go.
Yeah, you get better that way.
You want to go? You want to go to Myrtle? Go to Myrtle. You want to go to North Carolina? Go. Who's going to stop you? Nobody. We saw it a couple years ago with the OHSAA and Hubbard. If you're out of the OHSAA, nobody's stopping you from playing those games anywhere you want to go.
There's nothing wrong with that, and I think it comes back to like the NCAA. You know, big Power 5 conferences are fed up probably, and schools. It's going to take like big schools for the Ohio Association to realize like one big school says, hey, we're out. And then another one follows and another one goes and another one goes. And now the NCAA is looking at like, oh boy, we just lost 5 huge schools. And
see, I think it's going to take a chunk of schools in the OHSAA.
You know what I mean?
What, 700 schools? And you think about it, you have 700 schools and 4 of them win championships in baseball and softball, right? You're going to need a couple hundred schools to go, you know what, we're done with this. It needs to be like an underground revolution in high school sports. And
it's going to be one of the ones against the border where you can just sit there and you're going to need that whole region just to be like, yeah, dude, we're going to Kentucky and then we're going to go to Tennessee and then we're going to shoot on over to West Virginia.
What are you going to do about it? You know, like,
that makes the kids better. That just makes you play out of state teams. That makes you better.
I would love to see some matchups here in Pennsylvania come over to Ohio. That's why we're so excited about being the presenting sponsor of the Penn Ohio game every year, is because I love seeing those kids play. There's such hunger in football, and if you ask somebody from Ohio, they do it better. But if you ask somebody from Pennsylvania, Ohio has no shot, and they do it better. That's why I love that game. Is, you know, growing up in Ohio and going to college in Pennsylvania, there was so many similarities, but nobody ever kind of stacks up and lets it ride. It's kind of like a World Series. It's a Super Bowl, and it should be treated as such.
Yeah.
What do we have here? All right, Waterloo girls basketball got in trouble a few years back for this. Went to a tournament in California. California is not on the OHSA list of states where you can play in a tournament. I believe you're only allowed to play in schools. Wait a minute. No, that's not right, because we see Myrtle Beach all the time. That's in South Carolina. That doesn't border. I forget what it was.
You can only travel. I forget what it is, but like there's restrictions because like basketball teams around here go down to Florida. You know, baseball teams go down to. I'm not sure if it's just certain states or if it's in a certain like.
Is it you can't play X amount of games or only play X amount of games in states that don't border Ohio? I think it's something like that.
Yeah, it's something like completely stupid. Which, in a sense of that, like I know Austintown Fitch has gone down to Florida before.
Mm-hmm.
Then like Ravenna
so is
Southeast
United.
And dude, this cost for these people is astronomical. Like these kids are raising not just like $1,200, but like they're thousands of dollars so they can go play a sport they love in a different state. You know, it's an experience. It's all this, and you're gonna sit here and come shit on them and say, well, you know, you played 3 games down there, not 2, and that gave you an unfair advantage. When what about the teams who are absolutely loaded? And, you know, their practices are probably better than some of the games that they play in. It blows my mind, and it's a completely stupid rule. And I never understood why they have that on. If a school wants to pay or they want to go to California, then they want to shoot up to Washington. Look, Sierra Canyon out of California. I know a little bit different dynamic with the people who go there, but they travel, 40,000 miles in a winter. They're high school kids, and if that's something their parents feel they're okay to put them through, California doesn't sit there and say, well, we're going to disqualify you from our state tournament because you wanted to play better competition.
Well, wasn't it a couple years ago that Mooney, or it was Mooney or Ursuline? I can't remember. I think it was Mooney. They played somebody from Canada. So I mean, that game doesn't really count on their schedule. You know what I mean? You can't count that against the teams that they play. It's interesting to me that's the case. Like, let these kids play, let these programs play whoever they want to play, and at the end of the season, if the schedule doesn't hold water, it's on them. But reality is, the OHSA should be accommodating the schools, not the other way around. It doesn't make much sense to me, especially, you look at a school that hasn't won a state title forever, right? Why are you taking their shit? Why are you listening to their BS and you're going to go, okay, yeah, we'll step in line here. No, like, go do what you're going to do. Have your program. Give your kids the experience. I understand there's rules and regulations, but if you're not going to compete for a state title and you know it, why are you following the rules? Like, give your kids something that they remember other than an 0-27 season or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, give them something that, from a school standpoint, makes them want to come back and they brag about it a little bit. I know if we went to South Carolina for a baseball trip or a softball trip, my sister was on the softball team, I'd have been real damn excited. Real excited. Right. We didn't go anywhere.
I mean, put it into perspective. Quinn and I, we've coached 2 girls out of, I don't know how many we've coached in the past however many years. So we'll say 100 just to keep numbers round. 2 girls who they didn't win a state, but they were the only ones to make a state title game. So now that's 2%. So when you sit there and you take, hey, why do you guys go to Myrtle? Why do you go to, Roses? Why do you go to this? Well, because the percentages tell me 98% of these girls, actually probably it's more like 99% of these girls are not going to get the experience or that feeling to be in the state title game. So they deserve these experiences to play against different levels of competition, be different places, go play in different venues, be seen by college coaches, or just to sit there and say, when you go down to Roses and you get to see a top 100 player, and then you look on the baseline and it's South Carolina's coach, it's Gino, it's Stanford's and Carol Lawson and all these people. That's part of their experience. That are they going to remember the layup that they missed 7 times? Probably not, but they're going to be like, dude, I went to this one tournament and like all these college people were there and it was just wild. Like that's what these, and I'm going to call the OHSAA a bunch of old heads, because it's honestly like a bunch of old white dudes who don't want to change anything because it means it's more work for them.
I can neither agree nor disagree with that, Eric, but I think you have a very valid point. Let's turn the page. One thing, I just got a message from Ty's dad. He wants to know and wants everybody to know that a golf stag and party for Tyler Bartell, yes, our Ty Bartell, our little baby is all grown up and he is getting married, but we're going to celebrate him on Saturday, July 10th, 2021. For tickets, write this down, call Jim Bartell at 330-559-7446. Golf is going to be at the Old Dutch Mill, and the party is going to be at the Saxon Club Pavilion. We want everybody there to celebrate our very own Ty Bartell and send him off on his merry way as he gets married shortly thereafter. What is it, the next weekend, I think? I still have to RSVP. I feel bad. But we're going to break up that whole party. Like, it is going to be a YSN party, guaranteed, because we're going to take it wherever the bar is. You will find YSN not very far from it. I can promise you.
We go
Mason Jars on deck.
Amo's going. There it goes. All right. Again, the number for Jim, Ty's dad, is 330-559-7446. We want this to be special for our own Ty Bartell, so make sure you give him a call. And I think what the cost for a golfer is $60. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on. And then the donation for the party is $10. So I'm guessing, I've never been a part of this before, but I'm guessing the money goes to Ty and his fiance or soon-to-be wife for the cost of life as a married couple. So make sure you sign up for that. If you have any questions, you can always email us or send us a message, and we'll get you in touch with Jim. Also, guys, what I wanted to talk about before we kind of break things down for the day is the YSN All-Star Game just announced. We've been working behind the scenes diligently. Quinn and Paul Munson, who has disappeared. He's on vacation, so he gets it. This is happening on Sunday. It happened quickly. It's right on our doorstep. It's this Sunday. The YSN All-Star Game announced at Scene Park. The first pitch will be approximately 7 p.m. We'll have someone throwing out the first pitch. We've got all kinds of stuff going on for this. Jeff is signed up for a Dizzy Bat Race, so he'll do that during the 5th inning. Just found out about it. We are going to have, we're going to hope to have some T-shirts and things you can buy during there. It's $5 at the gate for an adult, $3 for anybody 12 and under. A kid or student is $3. 12 and under is free. So we'll do that. The reason we're charging is obviously there's costs for Scene Park to put on the event, for the lights, things of that nature, but also half of that, I believe, the proceeds that would be YSN's, we are donating to the Ray Wells Scholarship, and that each year one scholarship given away to a boy and a girl athlete. So we will make sure that $250 if you're an adult is given to the Ray Wells Scholarship. We'll try to bump that up a little bit so somebody's day is made. Maybe we'll hand out more scholarships than one this year to each gender. So we're just trying to do our part. We're not looking to make any money off of this. We're trying to give the kids something to remember. And the coolest thing about all of this, guys, is you've got 45 schools represented in the YSN coverage area and partner schools. 45 kids is going to be fun. And there's a couple, I know South Range, Ursuline, Canfield, Louisville have a couple more than one kid represented at each school. So you look at this, and this is going to be fun. We saw the Mahoning versus Trumbull County game played last night. It was a great game. But this is a little bit different, to have schools from over 40 schools represented and play guys that they've never heard of, they've never seen before. This is going to be fun. So some of the names that we can tell you are going to be there as the RSVPs continue to roll in. Let's start off at the bottom. We have Troy Carter from Wellsville, Luke Simons from Waterloo. We will have Brady Shannon from Ursuline, Alec Grissom from Struthers, Mitch Seymour from Springfield. We've got the South Range boys, Brandon Mikos, Trey Pancake, Charlie Roberts, and Connor Morley from Louisville, Tyler Welsh from Lisbon. We got Dylan Lennon from Latonia, Edison's Blake Connolly, Evan Tice from East Liverpool, Logan Hoshar from Columbiana, Alberto Peterson from Cheney, Zach Luciano from Camel, Jimmy Whippo from Boardman, Ryan Cunningham from Beaver Local, and so far Joe Roth from Austin Town Fitch. That is just a few of the names that you're going to see. Oh, by the way, Lane Rhodes just said he's in. So Salem, the player of the year for YSN, is in, ready to go. But the thing I'm most proud of is a young man, Jake Gehring, who's had a tough year, is going to be a color announcer for us. So we're going to pick Jake's brain a little bit. Richie will be the play-by-play, and Jake's going to be in the booth. So I'm excited to get Jake in participating in this game in some capacity, because we all know, without a shadow of a doubt, that Jake Gehring would be there, and I'm sure pitching for us in this game. So it's our first ever YSN All-Star Baseball game. We hope you can join us. We hope you can be there. And if you can't, it'll be on ysnlive.com Sunday at 7 p.m. So make sure you're all tuned in, you're all juiced up, because we are ready to go for this one. So, yep, Joe Roth's in. We love you, Mark. We appreciate you. Always making sure we're taken care of. What else we have? Paige is here. Showing up a little late to the get-together. Coolest idea ever. YSN to the top. Thank you. Sorry, Coach. David Cunningham is playing the West Coast League in Seattle, Washington. He won't be able to be there. Yeah, we understand that. Certainly, it was a bummer that when we got that he wouldn't be able to come. But he is West Branch's representative. Will, congratulations to him on a fantastic year and a great future ahead. So, unfortunately, he's not in the game because he has other commitments. But he was our guy from West Branch. He'll be announced as the representative. So, thank you very much. Amos says, this is awesome. Let me know if you need anything from Berlin Lake. Dude, just come on down and have a good time. That's what we're asking. Come on down, support these kids. I don't care how many people watch. I want to fill the stands at Scene Park and have a good time. And I think everybody's going to have a good time. Jeff is actually coaching, as is Quinn, in some capacity. Jeff has already been promised to be tossed out of the game.
I will. I'm just gonna say this. This whole bat, like
Dizzy Bat Race.
Okay, that's what it's called. Who am I racing?
I don't know. You're
Oh
gonna
my
wait on that
God!
one.
If I race Poe, I will beat him. I will tie my right foot.
I can promise you it won't be Ron Potesta.
Okay. Well, all right, that's cool.
We don't have the ambulance on staff. So I can't tell you who or I can only promise, Jeff, that they will make you look like a schmo. That's
If it's
all I'm
like
saying.
someone fast, like, can't we just give someone like throw Scotty out there with me?
No.
All right.
Dude, Scotty would beat you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm going to see if Scotty can come. Scotty would be fantastic to have around, and people love Scotty. To have people meet Scotty, he's one of the favorites, Jeff. He's taken your crown.
That's okay. Scotty can take my crown. That dude's awesome.
He is awesome. Paige versus Betos. That could be interesting.
Paige, you don't want this smoke, cuz.
I want to see Quinn versus Betos is what I want to see.
I will just hit Quinn with the baseball bat. And
Dizzy bat race?
Dizzy bat race.
I've seen you swing. You can't.
You're a coach. I'm a coach. Yeah, my team's gonna beat your team.
So I'm not the head coach of baseball.
So
I'm not. I'm not either.
Here's another twist that we're having,
You're a
and
turd.
I think this is my favorite part of all of this. Is we are looking to have a live draft on Saturday night, right here on YSN, across our social media channels on ysnlive.com. We're looking to have a draft. It doesn't matter who's the last picked in this draft. We might have a couple twister in the draft to switch things up. But I'm very interested as to who tunes in, because I think I'd like to have some of these guys that are drafted and are on to hop on during the show. So we're looking to have that. We got to make sure we meet a minimum, right, of how many people we have coming to the game. We already have 18, so we've got a full team on each side at least. So we're hoping to get everybody represented during the game. So make sure if you're out there, you're watching this, if you were on the All YSN team for baseball, make sure you check your emails, check with your coaches, check with your athletic directors. They have the information to make sure you're good. We are trying to make sure they have their jerseys, their school jerseys, because I think that's a cool look. And they get some of these kids, it'll be the last time they ever put their school uniform on is during the YSN All-Star Game. So I think that's one of the coolest ways to send them out and say thank you one more time. So, and those of you who have already asked and are thinking it, we're working on the softball All-Star Game right now. Nothing to report as of yet. We're just looking for the venue. So we'd love to get the ladies back on the diamond one more time in some cases, in the area's best, playing against the area's best here on YSN. So that is the major announcement. We wanted to hold it till later in the show. So looking forward to Sunday. Make sure you cancel all your plans. Be at Struthers Scene Park Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Guys, it's time for your favorite time of the afternoon. It is the G. Burbick What's Your Beef, What's Your Filet, brought to you by our friends at G. Burbick Farms. Visit them on the web, gburbickfarms.com, or New Buffalo Road in Columbiana. Let's give it to the G. Burbick Farms OG. It is EB, and he regularly smokes the G. Burbick Farms meat. What do you got?
Man, I haven't even thought about that. I have a lot of beef actually.
Let's go.
But definitely, people who who are incompetent to handling things themselves and call to ask a lot of stupid questions. Like, without getting too much into it, but like doing some customer service stuff, so it just blows my mind how some of these people. I'm just curious how you actually function in life throughout the day, because it's definitely a little wild. That's my beef without getting too much into detail.
Did you have more?
No, I mean I
Just
could
you
give
just had a lot of one beef.
oh a lot of beef. Brazilian steakhouse, just beef just kept coming. Just
The green card. Quinn, what do you got?
I got a fillet and a beef. So the fillet, right back at Michael Page. Followed me back. Way to go. Proud of that. Beef, myself. It is hotter than hell in this building, and I wore a long sleeve shirt. I'm an idiot.
You're a fast dude.
You're the one that has a watch telling you to stand up. Don't start this. Don't start this.
Hit my stand goal today.
Do you want to stand during your beef?
My watch, I have to get like 12 hours of stand time, and it told me to stand up, and it said you did it, and I never stood up. So, hey, watch, I never stood up. I was moving, like I've been moving around. I'm not a fat stooge like Quinn.
You got a beef or a fillet or anything?
The girl from Willy Wonka that ate the gum.
Whoa, dude, she didn't deserve that.
How
I
many
didn't.
shades of blue do you have on today, Jeff? Show everybody. You're sitting in a royal blue chair.
Yeah, I have like light blue, like Ralph Lauren shorts on. Obviously, my YSN Adidas polo, my blue hat, and
Show your shoes. Show your shoes.
my red, white, and blue shoes that are all dirty.
They are dope, though.
They're comfy. Comfort is killer in a shoe. It's the best quality of probably about a shoe.
You gonna go or what?
Oh, yeah. My beef is with people driving 35 miles an hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. If this person is in front of me again, I will personally run in the back of your car, and I will be okay with that.
You know, there's a novel thing called a pass.
I couldn't pass because 100 yards ahead of her, there were two semi-trucks. So she was going 35 miles an hour, staying 600 feet back from those things. You only have to be 300. Let's speed it up here, lady.
To go where?
I wanted to come see you, man. I missed you.
No, you didn't. You're a liar.
You shot 51 yesterday.
49, but that's okay.
Billy says you cheat. I'm just saying what I heard, dude.
You've golfed with me so many times.
Do you guys happen to tee it up from the fairway?
I do not. Jeff does.
No, I do not.
Jeff does.
No, I do not.
Jeff does. He plays from the ladies' tees with the lady ball, and he tees up in the fairway.
I do hit a ball that's 60 compression.
Cheater.
That's not cheating.
He's cheating. He's cheating.
How is that
cheating?
That's cheating.
How is that cheating?
It's not cheating, I guess. It's more just like when you have the 6-pound bowling ball.
Yeah. It's more.
I mean, everybody just looks at you.
See, if you have a 6-pound bowling ball, you're not going to knock down the pins. You're going to have a heavier bowling ball to knock down pins. You can throw it as fast as you want. It's just not going to knock them down.
You just say the word and I'll mute him. Like, it's okay.
This has been Intro to Bowling with Jeff Bezos.
I'm just saying, my brother-in-law bowls, and he told me if I bowl a 6-pound ball, it's not going to work. I said, why is that? He goes, because it's not heavy enough to knock down the pins.
Paige says I wouldn't admit that.
What, hitting a 60 compression golf ball? Yeah, I would.
Cheater.
It's not cheating.
Cheat.
It's not my fault that they make a ball that's 60 compression and I can hit it a country mile.
You're a cheater, just like the Yankees.
Do you have to hike up your skirt in order to get that much on it?
Oh, nice one, DJ. Good job. No.
You know, all these stories about him driving the green and stuff make sense when he's teeing off at the ladies' tees.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Tee off from the ladies' tees. You watch me play golf.
I've seen you.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to see you play golf, Jeff, on the YSN Open, so I can't wait to see how much of a cheater you are and we get it all on film.
Search and warrant for my golf game. They haven't got back to me. They haven't found it yet.
Never will.
No, not.
My beef is going to be with this rain. It was absolutely nuts yesterday, and then we had a couple problems earlier this afternoon, and then I walk in on A lot of leaks all over the floor. There was water all over the floor. We lost some of our equipment here at HQ. It was unfortunate. It sucked. And we have some issues with our flooring now. So not a good scenario at YSN this morning, but we march on, we continue, and we will always overcome. So that's my beef, the weather, and it looks like probably going to get a little bit more of it tonight. So Papa Yoakley's going to have to go find some towels, and maybe I'll be here. I might be spending the night on the couch, making sure that this place doesn't come all the way down. So that's going to do it for our show today. I want to thank our sponsors, as always, Baird Brothers, WRS Insurance Solutions, Joe Dickey Electric, Channel 21, WFMJ, G. Burbick Farms, as well as the other slide. We have Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, Berlin Lake Golf Club, Myers Family Insurance, K-Squared Marketing, WRS Wealth Advisors, and of course our friends over at iSynergy. A new banner will be added to this at the bottom later today. We got one of our former clients is back, and they're back with a vengeance. So excited to have them in. We'll have that for you tomorrow, as well as more sports from around the area and your favorite personalities right here on YSN. Until that time, that's going to do it for us. Any final thoughts from you guys?
Wave it.